The deal, of course. What's the reaction? Mark Dubowitz is executive director of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy's Joe Rubin, president of the Washington Strategy Group and former deputy assistant secretary of state for legislative affairs. Welcome both. Mark, let me first start with you. They talk about the money. $150 billion that they say will go to terrorism, but Secretary of State Kerry says that won't happen because there's a UN resolution that will prevent that. Is that true?
Well, Eric, the problem is, and it's not only $150 billion, it's hundreds of billions of dollars as Iran starts to resell its oil and begins to try to reintegrate itself back into the global financial community and energy markets. So we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars that the U.S. Treasury Department is now going to have to try and monitor and stop Iran from using it for terrorism. I think that's an impossible task, and Iran will have many billions of dollars to use for terrorism, and also it'll have hundreds of billions of dollars to fortify its economy against our attempt to use future economic sanctions to stop Iran from developing a nuclear program. We lose-lose on both accounts.
Well, Joe, do we lose-lose? I mean, what if we can't stop them from spending any of this money on Hamas, Hezbollah, or the Houthis, or potentially terrorist groups to attack us?
Well, Eric, thank you for having me. And what we just witnessed on the Capitol lawn is the sad, predictable outcome of a losing hand. We're watching people arguing against the deal when they know they're going to lose the vote. They've had a process ongoing.
Well, let me have you address my question, though. I mean, you're politicizing this. Let me just get to the fact. $100 billion. Can we stop Tehran from spending a penny of that on any terrorists?
The Secretary of the Treasury has said $56 billion is what will be available to Iran for massive investments and needs that they have domestically. There's a fight inside of Iran between different factions and what they'll do over this money. We can't predict every dollar. What we do know is that the administration is vigorously attacking terrorist financing networks. It has been for decades, even during the sanctions period, and it will continue to do so. Even former Secretary Clinton said so today. We have to keep our eye on that ball, absolutely. But this statement on the lawn can't go uncommented on. This politicization is undermining American credibility abroad with all of our allies who've been with us in this fight to stop an Iranian bomb, to help us smoke out the terrorist networks. How do we get them to work with us at the banks overseas if they see this kind of a fiasco on our lawn?
But the critics say that this will lead to a bomb in 10, 15 years once this lapses. And let's look at what the Supreme Leader said. We saw Donald Trump pull out a statement from Twitter a moment ago. This is what else the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei said. The Americans are not hiding their animosity towards Iran. Americans in Congress are plotting and passing bills against us. Negotiations are a tool for them to influence Iran and to impose their will. God willing, there will be nothing left of the Zionist regime in 25 years. He means Israel. Meanwhile,
Eric,
let me finish. The heroic jihadi Islamic spirit will not leave the Zionists in peace for a second. I mean, he is threatening Israel. He is praising jihadists, Mark, after this deal has gone through, and saying he doesn't want to even talk to us, have anything else to do with Americans.
Eric, I'm glad you finished the tweet. That's why I had interrupted you. But the other thing that came out today, which is even more interesting, or as interesting, is that one of the chief Iranian nuclear negotiators explicitly said that weapons inspectors will never get into any Iranian military site. The president has promised us they will, and these side agreements that he's keeping from the American people and from Congress are supposed to specify exactly what we're going to be able to see. So this nuclear deal, this nuclear bet on inspections and verification, and I'm sure that's what Joel's going to tell you, that we will try permanently block the Iranians, is going to depend on a verification inspection regime where the Iranians are telling us today, you're not getting into military sites. You know those places where we develop weaponization activities and weaponization components? You're not ever getting in. So this agreement is not verifiable, it's not enforceable, and it's an agreement that the Iranians, an Iranian regime that is the leading state sponsor of terrorism, will violate at every opportunity.
And Joe, what about that? Look at Parchin, where they supposedly held nuclear explosive tests, and they apparently are going to test their own soil and give it to their IAEA inspectors. Can you trust that type of deal?
This is the most comprehensive verification regime ever negotiated. This is one that our top scientists and intelligence experts have stated will get the job done. The International Atomic Energy Agency said it will get the job done. They have briefed Congress. The administration has. The head of the IAEA came to Congress and spoke about this. There are no secret side deals. What there are and what there is communication and information shared appropriately with our governing bodies.
But Joel, that's not true. Joel, wait a second. That's not true.
That is accurate.
Joel, every member of
accurate.
every member of Congress has said very explicitly that they have not been briefed on what these side agreements involve. And in fact, Secretary Kerry, President Obama, and Undersecretary Sherman have all said that they haven't even seen the side agreements. Those were negotiated between the IAEA
That's right,
and
Mark,
Iran.
because
so
the
you're contradicting. You're contradicting.
The IAEA negotiates these with all the countries. We don't want our side agreements to be shown to the Russians in the written letter, the black and white. They are briefed. That is how it works.
Well, Tehran has said they're secret. They said that's between Tehran and the IAEA, and it's no one else's business.
These are agreements that we have the IAEA there as an international body to verify nuclear programs around the world. If they have the confidence in this, we should have the confidence. We sit on their board of directors. This is a very strong organization that is going to verify.
All right, Mark,
this agreement.
last word.
Wow. So Joel is betting the future of the United States and the survival of Israel and a bunch of UN officials who've negotiated a side agreement that is secret, that the American people and their legislators and the executive branch is claiming that they've never seen and don't know the details.
What I'm doing is I'm saying that the people who do this for a living...
That is your bet on the survival of Israel and on our ability to stop Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. A bunch of underpaid bureaucrats at the United Nations. Joel, that's quite a bet.
This is what gets us into the rallies that we have on the Capitol.
Well,
this is what gets us to the rallies we have on the Capitol. Your alternative is military action. There's no other alternative.
This is 60% of the U.S. Congress opposing this deal, and the American people on 2-1, Joel. 2-1.
They're playing politics, and they're not even going to let there be a vote.
Says Tehran are secret. So we'll leave it at that. Mark and Joel.
Thanks so much, Eric. Thanks, Joel. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Eric.